Welcome back to Redacted Party Chat. I'm Brandon, your host for Case File 20. Milestone, guys. Milestone.
Hey.
We're doing it. Praise the roof. All 9. It's exciting, man. It's really exciting. Joined today, as always, with the Platinum Assassin. Vaughn, how are you today?
I'm good. As of 7 p.m., I have the Platinum for Requiem. So,
damn!
On to the next
That's crazy.
misery.
That's
Jesus.
wild.
Yeah. So, there was first blind playthrough, second playthrough was the speedrun, and then the last playthrough was insanity mode. And it is insane.
Well, I have questions about it.
Yeah, we can talk about that after.
Yeah. Man, the myth, the Marine. Third part of this tripod. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Playing Requiem myself. I'm just getting going, finally kind of getting through. I think I'm past like what would be considered the prologue of the game. So I'm good to go. Been having a good time with it. The weather's warming up, so it's just kind of hanging out in my cutoffs, playing some Resident Evil Requiem. How are you doing today, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing good. I did not platinum Resident Evil 9 for what it's worth. I just beat it. I think I just beat it yesterday. So I'm fresh, still kind of collecting my thoughts on it.
Same, really.
Yeah, that's wicked. Still collecting thoughts on the platinum. Yeah, we can talk about it. The weather's changed. It's actually warm out now, so that is beautiful. I was outside clicking heels and dancing. People were like, what is this weirdo doing? It's a great day out. Don't you dare ruin this for me.
All right.
You're probably more concerned because you were naked.
Yeah, that too, for sure. Yeah, Vaughn will put the socials up on the screen somewhere, as he always does. It's probably the exact same spot.
Every time.
Wait, let's see. If I'm here, it's going to be like right there, right? Okay. Or it's been for the last 20 case files.
Finally got it.
Check out the website. Vaughn redid it. It looks amazing. Got countdowns on there. I think the next big release is going to be Crimson Desert.
Yes.
I want to say previews are out for that. It actually looking pretty good. It might be a real game. We'll see. Yeah, you boys ready to get into it?
Always.
Did I forget anything? Join our Discord. That's up and new. We have so much new stuff. I'm trying to remember everything. I'm gonna need a list up on the wall. Just that.
The stream we do on Saturdays.
Yes. Stream tomorrow night. As of this recording, it'll be tomorrow night. Adrian said he wants to continue on with Resident Evil 8. Yeah. That'll be fun. I can't wait to see you do this next part, dude. It's gonna be so fun.
For it, I like I said, I hadn't played it before, so it's all. And I haven't played 7 in God only knows how long. So obviously playing Requiem is like Grace is, it's kind of that, but I could definitely, even just from like my initial play of 8, it's like Grace is very much more survival horror than Ethan. Like you can, you guys obviously are present for the stream. You could really get saucy in 8, like right off the bat, like, get the mechanics down, but there's really not so much of that in Requiem. Like I'm just kind of getting into figuring out my specific play style when it comes to that. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting experience for sure.
Yeah, well, we could just jump into like what we've been playing and whatnot, because I'm sure we're just going to talk Resident Evil for the most part. I want to discuss it, but I also don't want to. Not that I'm going to change your opinion on how you feel about things by any stretch, but my opinions are like they're ebbing and flowing as the day goes on.
We can dedicate a whole show to like a spoiler cast of it.
Yeah. I won't get into spoilers, but I think it still isn't better than Resident Evil 4. I think RE4 is still my GOAT.
Okay.
However, this game has made me realize that I think I really love Resident Evil 1. I think it's 4 and 1 you can alternate on which one I like better. And then there's those rumors that RE1's getting a full-blown remake now, which...
It'd be cool.
Dude, that would be sick. That would be so sick. I have kind of a quick little theory. What if you did Code Veronica, then you did 5, then you, if they're going to, then you do 6, then you do remake 1, and then you end on 10. Done. Resident Evil's complete. That'd be perfect.
We also don't know how far into development a 1 remake is, so it could come out even sooner.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was wondering is when would you release it in that timeline? Because I've always kind of been of the mentality of that's the last one you do. You just end it with, PlayStation 6, whatever, full-blown crazy Resident Evil 1 remake, and it just has the ultimate graphics. It's everything we've learned from all the remakes, and you just bring it right back to the original.
You could do a cool, marketing thing with that where they're like showing a slideshow of 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way up to 9.
Mm-hmm.
And then a 1 comes down and people are expecting a 0 to be 10.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's just 1 and it's the remake of 1.
Oh gosh, yeah, so exciting. Yeah, that'd be sick. We'll talk about that stuff on the spoiler cast because I have theories about stuff. I don't want to, spoil stuff, but the thing I will say is once again, and I do want to get your opinion on this because you played Insanity mode. I think the biggest problem I have with this game is the progression. As far as the way that the characters upgrade. Does that change at all in Insanity? Because the more I was thinking about it, I feel like I have the same issue with Grace as well.
Insanity mode does not change the upgrade gameplay loop where you're doing that stuff to upgrade things. That does not change.
Okay.
All right. I haven't gotten to obviously you guys are doing it coded, I'm assuming, so I don't really get it. But I know Grace has the injector thing. I that's like where I just left off when I was playing before the cast. I actually just killed Chunk. Made him. It was kind of gross looking because I gave him 3 of the injectors and he
you killed the big. Oh, really? That's cool. I didn't even know you could do that. I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah,
that's
you can
so cool.
sneak up on him and inject
the second
right
I saw the arrow.
Yeah,
the second I saw the arrows on him, and then that's when I was talking the other when me and you were chatting briefly, where I was like, I see where this is going. And I got the upgrade thing for Grace, so I'm just gonna upgrade my ability to shoot stuff.
Are you still in Grace's part?
Yeah, I just killed Chunk. Literally just killed Chunk. He just showed up. I technically played the part the other day, and then I went back just because I was like, I just wanted to redo the part, rerun it. And yeah, I just got to the part where I got the level 1 security bracelet, and he shows up and he's like, boogie woogie, and I'm like, I'm gonna stick this in your butt. So I got him. He is no more. So
last thing I'll add in terms of Insanity mode, and then we can move to something else, but it does change things around as a whole. There are enemy types that aren't in an area in a easier mode. They move some items around. Not as many as you'd expect. They're more so messing around with the enemy AI and the speed at which they can move and the enemy types. So there are moments where I'm like, okay, I know how to get from A, B to C. And then I'm doing that because it's just muscle memory on the 3rd playthrough. And then they catch me off guard with zombies in a spot that weren't there before, or a different type of zombie that is stronger than before. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Stuff like so. They are switching around with that.
Yeah, that
I don't think it's going to fundamentally change your current position on it.
Yeah,
but it does switch it up and make it more challenging because you can die super easy on that mode.
Right. I guess as I was even asking the question, I was kind of clicking with me that wouldn't really change the problem I have with it because it is just an overall the way the progression works across the entire game. Because I was thinking about how like Last of Us 2, how you go from you level Ellie all the way up, and then there's the switch kind of thing, and then you do that whole thing. It's almost like, without spoiling stuff, it's almost like a continuation.
Yeah.
Across. And I was not digging that at first, and then now I've had that thought, like earlier today, I'm like, okay, if I think about it this way, so I don't know. That's why I'm still kind of going back and forth on how I feel about it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But RE4 still the go.
I'm contemplating just poop socking that game, man. Just when we get done, just all the way through. I've got a battle in the morning, but other than that, I don't have anything else going on. So
it's a great game though. Like don't let me come off.
I'm having a ton of fun, and obviously we all have similar tastes, but in terms of like, you know, I don't think any of us has ever been like, you said that, so I just don't want to do it anymore. Like I'm very much enjoying myself, and I obviously, as the game goes on, I'm gonna have more complete opinions on how everything is. But as of right now, just one thing I heard, just people saying some people didn't really like the juxtaposition between, you know, the Leon absolutely ravaging everything in his path and Grace. You know, some people said it felt disjointed. Like I said, I have to fully experience the game. I've only done technically 2 switches, but like the first play parts of both of their campaigns are like tutorials. Like the first part of Grace is it's straight up just prologue. You're not doing anything, and then Leon's is, you know, shooting down zombies in the street. So you really don't have a whole lot yet. So I do crave the Leon parts.
Oh,
again, I'm enjoying Grace's parts. Make no mistake about that. But I do like that gameplay as of right now. Super fun, really, really fun, and you feel like they do give you that. I've been doing this for 30 years type of energy.
Yeah,
I came here to kick your ass. There's no more. Oh no! It's like unimaginable horrors. I see.
He doesn't even flinch.
Doesn't even flinch. I mean, nobody brings that big ass revolver anywhere if they're playing around. He saw Barry with his hand
and
cannon.
A hatchet. Like, okay.
Yeah, he saw Barry have his hand cannon, and he's like, "Hold my beer." He's like, "Yeah, I need to stop bringing a 9mm to a giant monster fight. I need to bring something with a little bit of stank on it."
Yeah, the switching back and forth, I actually think that part is handled great. Personally, I think I never. Because exactly what you're saying, I'm like craving the Leon parts, and then eventually you'll get the Leon parts, and then while I was Leon, I was like, I kind of miss Grace. Where's Grace at? Those parts were good too. I didn't realize, because it's like I didn't realize. Well, I knew Grace's parts were absolutely amazing the entire time, but you're like you're saying, you want Leon, and then it's like, oh man, Grace's parts are cool, because it's those 2 styles of Resident Evil. You know, and they're both awesome. They're absolutely both awesome. I will say that game is it reminds me a lot of Devil May Cry 5. A lot. It's like there's just fan service baked all throughout it. It has this kind of swan song kind of feeling to it. It's got the mojo. Difficulty might be a little too easy off the rip, just like DMC5, but the game's just so high quality that you're like, dude, I'm just having a great time with this. It doesn't even matter, really.
I feel like all DMC games, though, are just power fantasies through and through. Whereas, like, Resident Evil,
I guess get to Dante Must Die, then it's not. You got to be good. Like, it goes right out the window.
I will never play the one-hit game mode. I will not do
that. No. That's Hell or Hell, I believe. Dante Must Die is the definitive, like, that's when it gets fun, truly, because you got to be...
Doesn't sound like it. That's not the way the tone and all of that sounded like you.
Maybe I'll understand. It's just truly, you can't, like, you know how like when you're playing DMC, like you're saying, it's power fantasy, and you're kind of almost blacking out to a degree, or like zoning out. You just can't zone out. You have to lock in and truly hit those dodges and parries, and like you have to be Dante, and it's so rewarding. But whatever. But yeah, anything else on Resident Evil? I mean, I'm going to save most of it for the spoiler. Yes.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah,
highly recommend it. I would say for me, RE4, RE1 can go. Let's say RE4 1, RE1 number 2, and then I would have to think about it, but I feel like this is neck and neck with RE2 for me. RE2 remake. I feel like it's like right there. Like it's that good. I would say for sure.
I would say just from an early start, obviously recommend, but the Leon fit, possibly the best fit.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly the best Leon fit.
He looks real good. He does.
I mean, my boy is styling out there. And it seems as though he's being appropriately compensated for his work. That's what makes me happy. As a hardworking blue-collar man, there's nothing I like to see more than my fellow men getting compensated appropriately for the shit they go through. And I can't think of anybody that has gone through as much shit as any of the cast of Resident Evil. They should all be in mansions, driving whatever they wish, wearing whatever they wish. Because bless those people.
Even because I feel like that kind of started with RE8 Chris. Like Chris pulled up looking like money. Photo shoot fresh.
I don't know. I feel like RE4 Leon is really what kicked it off because
with the fur or like the leather.
Yeah, with the leather with the fur, and as he's doing again, leather jacket with the fur. He's got a certain taste. But
they got last thing I'll say. There's almost I kind of got Kojima-esque flavors in this one a little bit with certain aspects in cutscenes, not gameplay. Just the way that things were directed and whatnot, I was like, oh, this is cool. This is really cool.
There's some camera angles that are very Kojima-coded.
Yeah, and just the way that they were dealing with military stuff and whatnot, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is cool. You guys want to talk Night Rain a little bit?
Yeah.
I just like to talk.
I feel that.
Like to hope
that last run we did was probably the worst thing that could have ever happened to me because now I'm deeply hooked. Deeply. Dude, when we were fighting him, joke.
We should probably give context to what we did, so we're not just...
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. Yeah, we were fighting the night aspect, the final boss of Night Rain. Brutal fight, dude. He whooped us like 5 times, 6 times.
A 2-phase boss, which isn't really something you see in Night Rain.
Right, and...
I have like 3 hours in Night Rain.
Yeah, 3 hours, and this dude's beat the first boss and the final boss.
Fill in the gaps.
We kept fighting him, and then, we finally beat him, but I was just, like, thinking back to that fight, and the last, like, 15% of his health, dude, I blacked out. I was so locked in, I didn't even notice that we were destroying him to that degree. And then he just died, and I'm like, oh my God.
I was trying, obviously, we're all seasoned Souls vets, but I was just trying to keep it. You're like, oh my God. I'm like, we're good. We got this. It happens. You take hits. It just happens. When we got this, just stay locked in.
You better hit me.
That's when you drop it.
Yeah, just keep doing what we're doing.
Man, that game is so good, man. It really is super fun. I really hope they just keep adding to it. We unlocked Solaire outfits for the eagle guy, so now he's Solaire with eagle wings. Come on, man.
I'm too poor since I only have a few hours in, so these numbers are like astronomical to me.
Yeah.
Like I have like a couple. I have like no merc, I think it is, but it's like I'm getting like 2,500 per run, so it's like I mean, the best part is I'm down to earn that merc. I'm down to earn these. Like, yeah, run it. So I thoroughly enjoy it. I'm kind of cooked on it just because I hadn't played it, and even though I still need to get the platinum in Elden Ring, it's like I hadn't really felt a huge temptation to play anything Souls related, and that just kind of sparked it up for me. That honestly that cooked me for multiple reasons because I'm like, oh man, I want to play Souls games, but with my Souls platinum journey, I can't justify. I don't need justification, but I feel guilty not getting platinums in Demon Souls, Elden Ring, and Dark Souls 2. So it's like, oh man, I want to play Souls game, and my mind immediately goes to my favorite, 3. I'm like, man, I want to play 3.
2? You said 2 is your favorite?
I will fucking... I don't want to go on.
2's the best one, dude.
I'm not
going to...
You don't
got to justify it.
I will not take part in this heathen conversation.
Replay it. I'm pretty sure he said Dark Souls 2.
Run the cameras back, do it, take it to the refs, because my favorite, 2. I'm not going to play Dark Souls 2.
I hope Sony does a Dark Souls 2 remake over a Bloodborne, but that's just me personally.
I can't even continue this joke.
Joke.
Yep. Vaughn caught a stray. There you see. That's what you get.
That's what you get for taking his side.
That's what you get for participating in this craziness.
Pulled a Republican.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Yeah,
but
Night
Rain ignited something in me. And I am a slut for a good roguelike game, so that gets me. And now that I have like playing with you guys, I wish you could play that game solo. I don't think you can. I think you have to have.
No, you can solo it.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yep.
Because I tried to play and it kept matchmaking me.
You have to, when you're at the table, you can change the settings. If you hit R1, it'll move it over, and you can set a password. You can change how many people.
That's what I get for playing fucking games far past my bedtime, and I'm like a corpse. I'm like, I could do another run. It's been 1 o'clock in the morning. I have to be up at 5, and then I just get mad because my eyes aren't working properly, so I'm just not even registering options on the screen. So, yeah, that game's gonna cook me because I'm probably just gonna do solo runs, even if you guys aren't on, because the game is.
It's fun. It really, yeah. It's funny that you say you weren't in a Souls mood for a while, and this has kind of reignited it. Dude, Shadow of the Erd Tree did something to everybody.
Dude.
It beat everybody into such a submission that everybody kind of is like...
Oh. It's like almost like I forgot what playing Souls games felt like. It reset my brain. It's like, man, I want to play a Souls game, but I don't want to have that experience. And it's like, that's not the experience. That's definitely the outlier.
Yeah, it's firing me up though. I feel it in my stomach. I just out of the sheer principle of these ones and zeros ain't about to beat me. I got.
Oh no, I'm gonna have to go back.
It's bringing back old souls in me where I'm like, this is not gonna beat me.
I was watching stuff, and as much as it's like we were talking about earlier, where it's like I refuse to use like upgrade adaptability in Dark Souls 2 out of like stubborn principle, because of the fact that they tie dodging to a stat is stupid. I was looking at stuff on Shadow, and there's a bunch of areas I'm essentially skipping far ahead. Like I'm not doing it in the proper order. And that actually means something in that game, considering like you need those Skidoo tree shards. So it's like I just need to essentially figure out or look up what is essentially the appropriate order to do things, and then be appropriately strong. I just hate that mechanic. So it's like that's it. Like I said, it's the stubbornness of it's like I don't want to engage with this mechanic because I don't believe it should exist, but it does exist. I have to accept it, and then I have to play the game, I guess, how it's meant to be played, even if I don't agree with how it's meant to be played.
Yeah. That's what sucks, is if we can just overcome that hurdle, that is their best work. That's what kills me about it. It's like the bosses are sick. Artistically, it's incredible. Music is incredible. The level design of the area is incredible. Everything about it it's so sick. And it's like, but I'm just getting Bobby Boucher in the nuts over and over and over.
Those fucking goats with the chakrams can eat my taint. They are hands down one of the worst enemies, if not the worst enemies that I've ever...
like enemies that have 35 hit combos that you just, no matter how many times you perfect dodge, don't worry, there's 21 more.
Does not matter. I dodge
stamina build.
Yeah, he's on my ass, and 0 openings for attacks. Like,
yeah,
whose idea was this?
Yeah. Last thing, they just randomly dropped a 60 frame update for Assassin's Creed Unity, the best Assassin's Creed. Just want to throw that out there. Co-op, and the servers are back up. Dude, it's 60 frames, 4K. It looks incredible. I cannot express to you guys enough how fluid and smooth, like, controlling it is now. I swear to God, they've tweaked the combat. The combat no longer looks janky. Like, it actually is. Everything is just flowing. It looks like, ironically enough, it looks like a Renaissance painting. Like, it just has a look and a vibe to it dude, that's the best Assassin's Creed. It is so much fun. Gives me such Metal Gear Solid 5 vibes. Like,
crazy what staring down the barrel of bankruptcy will do to a company.
Yeah, who are you telling? Hey, we just
Right.
realized. Hey, look, we're gonna make a high quality product and put it out when it's done. All right, and you know where else we're gonna do? We're gonna listen to the fans. All right, that's what we're gonna listen to the fans.
Right. You're right. It's like
Everybody's like,
they're saying it like it's a revolutionary thing. It's like we've changed our company ethos to like the appropriate one for any company
Finally.
ever.
Yeah.
Like it is quite literally the general concept of supply and demand. And they're acting like they've, a lot of companies act like they've reinvented the wheel. It's like, we're giving you something. It's like, you're giving me what I asked for, which is why we're even engaged in a transactional relationship to begin with. Is because you gave me the thing I wanted initially. You're the one that changed up. I never stopped wanting it.
Yeah. And I do really believe this. They are so lucky in the sense of, I don't think there's another franchise that exists that people want to love more than Assassin's Creed. People want to love it. They always give it a chance and they always are disappointed, but there's always a hope every Assassin's Creed. Every time where everybody's like, ooh, I am into Egypt. Ooh, I am into Greece. Ooh, I am. It's like they do the time period and you're like, oh, could this be cool? And then it's always like, ah. So if they could just get back to the drawing board, like, I don't know, I'm of the mind AC Unity should be your foundation you're forever building off. And, like, stop restarting over and over. It's like no one even knows what to expect because you're putting new mechanics each game. AC Unity is the foundation, and then AC4 for, like, the open worldness. Combine those and just stop. And then go back to storytelling with some nuts. All right? Quit with all this whatever you've been doing. Whatever that is. Like, go back and...
Whatever it is.
Yeah, like, go back and do, like, that original Desmond saga with Ezio and all that. Come on. But yeah, all that stuff aside, they did it really well. And I think they, from what I'm reading, I don't know that game well enough to be able to be like that exact animation, but apparently they tweaked combat and tweaked parkour with like new animations and stuff to make it like more fluid. And I mean, I've never controlled this game so good. I mean, we are really slipping in and out, and it'll be like Nate's hiding on the corner. The guy is down the hall. I walk across the corner to get his attention and just to lead him down for Nate to kill him this way. And then I walk the hallway and we're just flowing back and forth, not even running, just walking aura killing everybody. Dude, it's so sick. And then last thing, what I was going to say about Metal Gear, not necessarily in tools and stuff like that, the way Metal Gear is, where it's like all this crazy sandbox with the tools, but Unity's sandbox, of course, is the parkour. So it'll be like a giant mansion. And every time you run this mission, whether it's daytime, nighttime, whatever, there could be a party going on. There might be a revolution, protest going on. This window might be open. The guards might be over here. They might be having like a meeting inside. So it's like this, it's just infinitely replayable to the extreme of, or not the extreme, but like the French Revolution is just such a perfect setting for Assassin's Creed. It's perfect. It's like there's chaos everywhere, so you're killing people and then just blending in with the chaos that's already going on. So it's just so believable. It's just really, really cool. But yeah,
I should probably try to get that platinum.
Yeah, that I'm 100% going. I was going for the platinum before, and then they were just like, "Hey, you like this? Servers are off." I was like, "Why? They're off." Okay, I hope you go bankrupt. Now they're like, "Listen, my
Deal with
friends, we." Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. Now there's a gun to the back of your throat. Like,
I have a couple more story missions I think I have to do, and then a subset of multiplayer ones that I have to finish.
oh yeah, dude, hop in, man. That it just for the fun of doing assassin stuff, and it's 4-player. Like, can't wait. I'm gonna play it tonight.
I hopped in and didn't remember the controls whatsoever, and I'm like, no. But
oh, right, yeah.
so I'll have to mess around with it for a while and then take that offer.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Game-wise? Anything you've been playing?
No.
It was pretty much poop socked RE9, so
yeah,
I can finally play something else.
Yeah, Adrian, let me know when you get to the part where Grace is revealed to be buried. and then we can really get into spoiler talks.
I hope he's like, yours is almost as big as mine, Leon. And like, throws him the Requiem back and he just pulls out the hand cannon. So I'm excited for that. But no, yeah, I'm probably going to hunker down tonight if I can resist the urge to just play Phasmophobia. I don't like that I'm a solo Phasmophobia player. Like, I play with other people, but I don't like that I do that now.
I don't like that I do that now.
There's a level of, it's like comfortability in the sense that, like, if I was like a fucking, I don't know, somebody that works with big cats, you know, it's like that guy is fully aware this animal will kill him at any point in time. He's just more comfortable with the idea. So like I'm running in and getting my stuff all set up and like, yeah, I'm gonna get all this evidence from you. But it's like in the back of my head, I know it's like this dude could come out and absolutely crack my ass right now. depending on the ghost it is, it might just fuck me up. And it's scary when it happens. It's like I'm cool. We're not cool. Things are not cool. Things are not okay. I was talking to you the other day about getting you, because you get video recordings and like really good ones have like higher values, and it's like, oh yeah, video recording of a ghost, and yeah, nothing makes the old sphincter pucker up like, oh, I see that, because the ghost will manifest sometimes. It's like, oh, ghost, and then you think it's gonna say like shadow ghost or just ghost, and then it's like hunting ghost. I'm like, it's like right here, because I'm trying to get the video recording of it. Literally just serve myself up on a platter. I'm like, shit. So
that game is so scary, dog.
I mean,
it's so scary.
Still to this day, there'll be times where I'm just they'll get me. They'll fucking get me. So, but I do like that game a lot. We should hop on. There's a lot of stuff obviously we're going to be hopping on, but
I know, dude. That's the horror. Is there's like a few games I want to be like, guys, you want to play? But I'm like, every other day I'm asking you guys to play something new.
Oh no, I don't mind I don't mind to play games. It's just, especially with trying to somewhat keep up with new releases and stuff like that. Especially, I haven't even touched Neo 3 yet, and I'm sure that game is girthy.
Really good. Oh yeah, that's the only thing with that game is it is a lot, but it is not as ball-bustingly hard by any stretch. Like I feel like we play that together, we're just gonna breeze through it. I'm sure there's gonna be a fight that kicks us in the nuts, but for the most part, I've been kind of breezing through. But I haven't played in a little bit.
I'm not really worried about the difficulty. I just know how I am, and if there's a platinum to be had, I need to get my platinum game up. I was looking at my platinums the other day and realized I have a depressingly small amount. Like, I've started a ton of games and got like 95% done with the plat and then didn't finish.
Yeah.
So there's a part of my soul that's like, I need to put I need to put these games to bed. But as I stated before, my roguelike addiction is like, it's RNG based.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I could play a fucking game for like Binding of Isaac is that way, which I gotta get Binding of Isaac again, but because it's not on the PlayStation thing anymore. But it's like there's certain you literally just have to complete the book with the items. It's like there's items that don't fucking drop. I remember Joey was telling me about it when he got the platinum. There's like certain rooms you have to go in that only spawn like every 1 in 10,000 fucking runs. It's like, what? And it's like,
you have that platinum, Vaughn? Do you have that?
No. I remember playing around the time that game came out with Joey, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be playing this game this many times for the platinum. So I had already took that out of my mind. I was playing it for pure fun.
Dude, 1 in 10,000, because then you get that, let's just say, and then the amount of anxiety that is on you to perform and win is astronomical.
Well, I know there's like a way to do like just the base platinum. I don't really care about doing like getting all the additional achievements that come with DLC, because that one's got like 4 fucking DLCs. Like you get the platinum, and thank God they did this where it's like you get the platinum for just beating whatever the base game stuff is. Yeah. But still, even like that achievement is in base game. And I know there's one, it's like Eve, I want to say, that they get randomized items, and that's one of the things where you start off with her. and then if you don't get the item, it's like she gets random items from the beginning, and if you don't get it, you just quit out and just go back in and go back in and do it again, do it again, do it again, which I hate doing, but 1 in 10,000 is a wild number.
Yeah.
That's you got to start playing the ones and zeros at their own game, or you're gonna lose your goddamn mind.
Yeah, seriously. I want to pitch something out there. Hear me out, Vaughn, and you as well, Adrian, I guess, because you don't have it. Arc Raiders is really cool. It is cool. I just want to throw it out there. It's trios.
You're fucking relentless.
I know. It is. Nate and TJ have been harassing me for like the last 2 weeks. They're like, dude, you like this game. Download it. And I'm like, Last of Us. And they're like, okay, but like for real, download it. And then I was like, all right, fine. And I ran a couple with Nate and I'm like, this game is sweet. I've never played anything like this. This is so cool. Damn it. Like,
I'm so satisfied right now.
Yeah, I'm like, this is such a unique, cool, it's such a perfect blend of like, you know, it's the Hunt Showdown stuff, but it's cinematic, dude. It has like this Star Wars-y kind of vibe, and when the robots start coming in and then everybody's helping each other, but you're always got your eye on them because you can't trust nobody, and just the fluidity of how it moves, I'm like, damn. And then like a sandstorm comes in, and you know how you like have shields or whatever, like a Fortnite shield. When the sandstorm comes in, it's causing electricity around you. So you stand out in the night and in a sandstorm. So it's like, okay, I got to take that off, and you're hiding and breaking into cars. And it was kind of cool because me and Nate just were playing super stealthy, and we were literally in just to get materials because you have missions outside of, you know, being in a match because you're trying to build different benches, like medical benches and gun benches, so you can craft, you know, better armor and better weapons and blah, 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 and create like builds for yourself. And then you're stashing that stuff to pull from later. It's, yeah, there's a chicken you could put a collar on, whatever, dude. But it's like,
there's a chicken you could put a collar on.
It is cool. And I played it very limited, but I was like, oh, this does have an energy to it that it's really scratching that Last of Us energy. Like what Last of Us Online was supposed to be. I'm like, damn it. So I hate it for that, but just throw it out there, $39.99, whatever. You guys ready? Okay, so this is a genuine question I'm asking. I don't really have much knowledge. Adriana brought this up on the second episode of Redacted Tactics, Space Marine. New recruits. Find it at Redacted Roundtable, youtube.com. He was talking about GW, the people that create Space Marine, and you were saying that, well, here, I'll just read the question. Do you think the owners of an IP like Warhammer or Lord of the Rings should have sole rights to the publishing, or should IP be distributed to as many as possible? Because you were saying that GW kind of, they're like greedy little pigs and they hold it and don't let anybody do anything with it. To which then I think I had like lightly asked, you know, like, but they own it? So, like, if I owned Lord of the Rings, in my mind, I'm thinking, like, well, I don't want nobody to have it. But then at the same time, you take something like J.K. Rowling or Harry Potter, where it's like she puts out, you know, she lets, what is it? Is it Eidos Montreal? Is that who made the game?
Oh, Hogwarts Legacy?
Yeah, whoever made Hogwarts Legacy.
It was Warner Brothers and some company. I'd have to look it up.
Why do I feel like it's like the Just Cause team or something? I don't know. Anyway, you know, that's obviously not her, but it obviously created something great. So, yeah, I guess the general question is, how do you draw the line with that? Where, you know, take it away. Because I don't even know fully the question at this point.
Right. So, it's like it'll be kind of a riff on the question because like the reality of it, we kind of discuss it a little bit. It's like, yes, I totally understand and respect that they have ownership of the IP. My issue with, and it's like a dual-edged sword, but at the same time, I don't like the fact that it's completely consolidated in a lot of cases, essentially the authority over the IP, just simply because it makes it so that on a positive side, it makes it so that someone could maintain the integrity of an IP. Um, but in cases like this, it's like it doesn't seem like it's owned by fans of either of those two, which Warhammer is staying pretty strong, and that's just because the Warhammer community is like rabid animals. So it's like, you act a fool with the Warhammer community, you're gonna have a bad time. But at the same time, it's like these things, the community wants it to grow, and this chokehold that these places have on the chokehold that they have on these IPs is making it so that it just really can't grow anymore, which Warhammer saw a massive growth spike recently. And it's, that's a great thing, but it's not really due to anything I would say that GW specifically themselves is doing. That actually came from stuff like, having their IP, having Space Marine 2 come out, the community kind of getting an upsurge when it comes to spreading Warhammer content. And it sucks because there's, communities of fans that are realistically just as, if not more dedicated than some of the actually most dedicated employees that work for these companies. But really all it does is stifle creativity and stifle growth ultimately at the end of the day when these IPs, for lack of a better term, are being mishandled. I think they've absolutely fumbled Lord of the Rings in recent years. Rings of Power was like an atrocity. It was like they had no clue what anything related to Lord of the Rings lore was and why it was, or why it was that way. Whereas Warhammer, they had a couple, and I'm not going to bother to get into like my opinion on the topic, but it's like they did stuff like the female Custodes, which, was a big uproar in the community because it was, just essentially against lore, established lore. And then they came out and were just like, no, it's not. It's like, but it is. But like I said, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but that's one of those things where they have ultimate authority over it and they can do things that put the IP in jeopardy. And then, especially coming from somebody that was a huge Star Wars fan, it's like when they have full authority, and it's not only that they have full authority, they're actively working to shut down independent creators. Star Wars did something like that. I forget what his name is on YouTube, but essentially he made a short film that was better than pretty much anything that Lucasfilm or Disney had put out in the past like decade. And it was all about Darth Vader. And they shut it down, even though he wasn't even making any money off of it. It's like they just didn't like it's like the Bethesda with Fallout New Vegas. Like they're kind of mad because somebody else is doing their thing better than them. So they're stifling it. And that's what we were talking about on the Redacted Tactics. It was a lot of YouTube content creators, which it seems like that storm has passed. The community went into an uproar, lost their shit, like, hey, stop this. And they kind of quit doing it. But for a while, they were going around and shutting down narration channels, both ones that were reading content from the books and ones that were reading content from the books, ones that were reading fan fiction lore, and ones that were literally just reading Warhammer lore, compiling lore videos on certain aspects of the universe. And then, that was it. They're not stealing anything. They're not using copyrighted content in the sense that they're taking something that you've already done and just reposting it. They were going through your lore codexes, compiling all this information, and then reading it back to fans, potentially new fans, and giving them the content, and they were shutting it down. We discussed it a little bit. I like to think it was AI related, and like an issue with their AI search engines. But they're the ones that determine these things. They're the ones that determine the engines that are used. And I don't give mega companies or really anybody, when that kind of stuff is happening, you have to be diligent. You have to be on the ball, and you have to be monitoring this kind of thing to make sure it doesn't go out of control, which is super ironic with Warhammer, with the whole abominable intelligence, Men of Iron plot line where like AI is banned in the Imperium because of it running rampant and fucking everything up. But yeah, you don't get an excuse. You don't get to go, oh, I didn't know this was completely ruining people's, channels and possibly careers and, livelihoods and, throwing the fan base into turmoil. And essentially, I didn't realize this is harming the fan base. It's like, that is your one and only job, is to tend to the needs and be responsive and open to listening to the fan base. So pretty much what you're just telling us is there's a fucking fire and you're dicking around, not paying attention to the fact that the whole Warhammer community is on fire right now. It's like, I don't believe that you don't know this is happening. I believe that you implemented it, and I believe that you thought it was going to essentially make it so that you had sole ownership of anything Warhammer related, in the sense that like you were the only way to get the Warhammer fix. That ain't it. Like I said, there's a difference between someone doing things that are directly against copyright, which is fair, but there's another thing to essentially let your community be hurt and not flourish just because you were hoping that you could get away with doing stuff like this. So yeah, essentially my take on it is I think companies should do everything in their power to distribute this content to appropriate parties. Yes, you should vet them 100%. And, I can't say that they should split up. So like if somebody comes up with an idea, you own it. That is what it is. But companies should be doing everything in their power to distribute this to the fan base, to allow the fan base to elaborate on it, and work on it. You don't even have to make it canon. That's the thing. That's the crazy part of the whole thing. This has been going on for decades with anything. Like Titus wasn't even canon until Space Marine 2 blew up. You can pick and choose. So Star Wars did it with with like Star Killer and the Force Unleashed games. It's like there's tons of Star Wars games. Not all of them are canon, but you could, there is no justifiable reason for you to hold an iron grip on an IP like that when you don't have to establish anything as canon. You could just, it's the easiest thing to do. Put it out there, let people elaborate on it, and then, from a company perspective, it's like, oh yeah, well that's canon now. People like that. So now that is, like Titus is getting his own books. It's like, you didn't have to do anything. You didn't have to do anything. You just let the people cook on Space Marine 2, and it's like, all right, do people like that? Yeah? All right, cool. He's an official canon character. Boom, boom, boom. Let's write 5-6 books about him. If it was garbage, you'd be like, well, that's not canon. It is what it is. We let people use this IP, and sometimes people send out duds.
You kind of win both ways.
Yeah,
and that's
really no justifiable reason.
Right, and so now that makes sense as to why you were saying they just hate money, because that doesn't make any sense. Why would you not, as the owner, kind of give it out to as many people as possible as, like, let's just say like a starter, right? You give it out to as many people as possible, and let's say 9 of the 10 of them suck, but that 10th one's iconic. Just go with that one. You give Lord of the Rings out to Peter Jackson, and look what happens.
It's like the equivalent of dev kits in game design. Why would you not hand out dev kits for your new console to as many people as you could, in terms of people like, I'm a game development company. Why not hand out a dev kit and get somebody cooking on content for your system? Same thing. This guy writes incredible stories. There's a channel. I mean, there's tons of channels that I watch that are Warhammer related, but some of the best stories I've heard are all from Vox in the Void, and they are some of the best, most well-written. He doesn't do them himself. Like, I think he does some of them, but a lot of them are just from people. And it's like, these people it's one of those things where it's like, what's your credentials? It's like, do I need credentials to be an incredible storyteller? Do I need published books? Do I need, my work speaks for itself. If there's a guy, if I take a guy, my car to a guy, and every time he diagnoses, fixes my car with zero issue, that guy is a mechanic. That guy doesn't have to go to school. That guy doesn't, I don't care. If everything he does is right and proper and it works, that man is a mechanic. Same thing with a storyteller. That guy doesn't have to have published books. If every time he writes a story, there's hundreds of thousands of people that are like, this is some of the best Warhammer content I've ever heard. That man is a storyteller. So why would you not give him free reign to make stories for you and increase the growth? And then, like I said, if he writes something that doesn't adhere to consistent known canon, you just leave it what it is. People will still enjoy the content. It'll simply be non-canon. But in a case like Titus, he fits. You can fit him in somewhere. So it doesn't make sense to, stifle the creativity of people by doing that. It's nonsensical. Yeah. And then, when it comes to Lord of the Rings, though, that one is different because I feel like they just are handing it to
the worst people.
Not a lot of people, just the worst people.
They're the opposite. They're doing it too often.
Yeah, they're doing it. They're and there's not a huge. Whereas, like, the Lord of the Rings community is, very dedicated. You don't really see a lot of like additional Lord of the Rings content out there. Like, at least not me personally. There might be some out there that I haven't looked up, but I don't really see any fan-made short stories or anything about.
Like where they're trying to create lore, basically,
or just stories. Like, I think Lord of the Rings almost it doesn't open itself to fan input very often. So it's like, whereas I've got hundreds of videos of people just making stuff up. I don't see anybody with Warhammer. I don't see, really much of that with Lord of the Rings. Nobody's telling stories of a ranger and, some story about him fighting orcs or whatever. Because it's like, there's stories I listen to horror stories from Warhammer. There was one that was like Top Gun themed. And it was about just like the Imperial Air Force essentially having a Top Gun-esque dogfight with orcs. And it's like, that's sick. That's super, that was like a really fun story. Like, a lot of these stories are super fun. And there's a lot of things you could do with them, but, they would rather essentially shut these people down for just putting the content out there. It's like, they're not taking anything from your IP by doing this. Just because you shut this channel down doesn't mean I'm going to go buy, your $40 Black Library book. I do want to buy the books, but you shutting them down is not going to encourage me to engage with your content.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. I agree. Pretty much, yeah.
There's not much I could add either. We're all pretty much on the same page, where it just doesn't make sense, especially with even though it's kind of a long-running franchise. I think Space Marine 2 really put it in the limelight with gamers as a whole. Why wouldn't you try to capitalize on that? Put out some stuff. Get some, I hate to say it, but get some content creators out there and kind of push that marker on the map and getting more eyes on it. That spreads its awareness. Get some cool stuff going, like you said. If anything, it builds upon the lore. Those storytellers that you're stifling now, bring them to the limelight. Get some cool stuff going on.
Right. And I think, oh, go ahead, Brandon.
I was going to say, and it's even though they're being, super prude about it, it's almost, if you just opened up, it's almost a better position to be in than what Lord of the Rings is, where they're just giving it to anybody and everybody and being like, it's all canon or whatever they're doing.
Right.
Like,
right.
You can at least, like you're saying, say you do release it to a bunch of content creators and say 75% of them are goofies. You just just ignore them. Those two over there, those guys get it,
Right. And I think
you highlight them and put them on your channel or on your main GW page or blah, blah, whatever, the people you want to hand select.
Right. And I think the problem that comes with a lot of that is the unwillingness to, and it goes back to kind of what I was saying earlier about them kind of just letting the house burn down and acting like they don't hear the fans. It's like, these communities are very vocal. So in terms of like, if you're like, oh, if I hand it out to too many people, then, effectively, it could go off the rails. It's like, no, the communities are very, very clear about what they want and what they're looking for. And it can be a number of reasons, but 9 times out of 10 it comes down to big money people doing big money things, which concerns me about the Warhammer stuff with Amazon, because they're the ones that did the same. They're the ones that were in charge of Lord of the Rings. It's one of those things where you can't sit here and pretend you don't know that we don't like that you made something canon, that you said, oh, well, it's canon. It's like, don't be like, well, how was I supposed to know? So many people had so much stuff going on. It's like, that's not an excuse. You are a company managing a multi-million, if not billion-dollar product. You know what the fans are saying. So if you're actively going against what fans are doing, then it just shows us that you are more loyal to, big BlackRock money than you are the fans of your series, which ultimately ends up in your series crumbling. So I think GW, if that's, something that's rattling around in their brain, I think that they're going to have to come to some kind of reckoning at some point and make sure, like, hey, you can't push them too far, which, once again, the female custodies things, I have gotten kind of over it. But it was a very vocal outcry. And I think, thankfully, it seemed like they got the message, like, hey, don't go getting cute. Don't go getting cute with it. We like what we have. Build upon, because what they changed was foundational lore. There's a difference between changing something, retconning something that is in lore and changing it, and then there's foundational lore. It's like if they would, Lord of the Rings was on East Earth, not Middle Earth. It's like,
or like if the orcs were holding their babies, saying we're just fighting to put food on the table.
Right. And that's foundational lore. Like that's it's like, people, I don't know why you're so mad about this. It's like, that's foundational. That is part of the core aspect of this, whether you think it's major or minor is irrelevant. It is one of the pillars that hold up the greater lore. There's, that's anything. There's certain things in it doesn't matter what you're looking at. There's certain things that are, it's like, yeah, this is, if I were to explain to you the baseline story of things, and it would come up, it's like, orcs, clearly a incredibly core part of Lord of the Rings. They are essentially the main antagonistic force that you're going to be seeing throughout the series is going to be orcs or orc related. And it's like, tell me about the orcs. It's like, yeah, they're creatures of pretty much pure stank and darkness that are artificially manufactured by evil wizards to, just do evil stuff all the time. They have no semblance of empathy or mercy. It's like, yeah, that's the orcs. That is it. Like that will always have to be what it is, because that's what they are at their core, and they're so important to the story. You start doing that, it's like, oh well, they have kids and they reproduce normally, and then they have feelings and emotions like love and care for kids. Like, no.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I hate it every time Lord of the Rings.
I think Nintendo is kind of in the middle, like a middle ground with this, in the sense of they've gotten more appropriate with marketing and tying in with other things like McDonald's and Christmas tree ornaments and drink places, special drinks, stuff like that. And yet, on the other hand, fan games and fan renditions and like Metroid fan games are shut down immediately, like with a cease and desist letter, that type of stuff. It's like, why don't you just let this flourish? Like, you are cutting down on creativity for something that you've created that people love. Like, why would you ever think that's a bad thing? Unless they're encroaching on something that you're actively doing. Something like a Metroid game, for example. Like, let someone put that out and then like just maybe retweet it or reshare it and be like, this is super cool. Like the dev team finds this super, super cool. You could even get a job. You could approach these people and bring them in to make your product better. But no, you're shutting them down. You're putting a stank on a creative medium that you're trying to get people to buy into.
Right. And it all comes back to where it's nonsensical because you can profit off of it. There are so many chapters and factions in Warhammer that were based off of like minis that it's wild. Like straight up make entire factions. You know, like they effectively brought back the Noise Marines because people were doing sick paint jobs on the Noise Marines, and you know, they were a faction that, you know, didn't really flourish, and they were considered kind of canon, but not canon. And then people were, I mean, they are too loud. They liquefy your organs. But yeah, it was one of those things where people were like, yo, look at my Noise Marines. Look at my Noise Marines. Look at my Noise Marines. They're not canon. They should be canon. They're Noise Marines. And they were like, you know, then you're reading a book or you know, listening to a audio book or whatever. And then they're like, you know, all of a sudden deafening booming sound came roaring out of nowhere and just completely, you know, eviscerated one of the Imperial guards, just shredded him to complete pieces with the sound. You're like, no fucking way. And it's like a giant armor clad, you know, behemoth with a fucking sick ass electric guitar is just absolutely shredding, and it's destroying everything. You're like, the Noise Marines! They brought the Noise Marines back! Let's go! So it's just one of those things where it's like, and it's what I said initially. And same with Nintendo. Nintendo is absolutely, I think, is ridiculous with it. It's like, you still own it.
Right.
You still own it. You can let people be creative and just capitalize on their creativity. It sounds scummy, but if you're going to be scumbags already, you may as well make money and let us have fun with it.
At least be positive about it. You taking it down has become a joke and a meme now.
You technically taking other people's credit for other people's work is appreciated when it's fan service. That's the funny thing. Yeah, like
go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's really just it. It's if you and under any other circumstances, taking credit for somebody else's work is a bad thing, but the fans of these IPs are so hungry for content and like your stuff so much that we will actively encourage you to steal our ideas if it means we get to have more. I could make a dope ass faction of Space Marines or Chaos Marines, and I'm like, yeah, look at this. This is super cool. This is my lore. And then if that shit comes out a year later, I'm like, hell yeah, they did my thing. I don't even want any. I don't want any compensation for it. I couldn't get any compensation for it if I wanted. I'm just happy my thing is here.
Right. Yeah, because like Space Marine, crazy extended, or 40K, crazy extended lore. Lord of the Rings, crazy extended lore. Because I immediately started thinking of how Night Rain has, you know, like it's turning into the FromSoft world kind of thing. And I think Miyazaki was saying with Duskbloods that Nintendo sucks. And I was like, oh yeah, I heard that somewhere, and I just can't ever remember where I'm hearing from. But I think Miyazaki said it too. But that's all I had on that.
I don't know who hasn't said it. I think it's a general consensus.
It's got to be true. It happens every single episode. I got nothing major to add.
Yeah, I've just been ranting and raving. I get it.
It's a no-brainer,
right?
Overall,
yeah.
But it's interesting to elaborate on the shenanigans that people just with a world that's so about capitalism and money, you're actively denying money.
Right. It's one of the few cases where it's like, you know, I'm essentially accepting that you're you know, capitalist dogs. I'm accepting that reality. All I ask is that you give me something. You let me at least enjoy the product that I'm giving you money for.
Did you see that big poster hanging up on Wall Street? It says "Own less, do more." It's like, okay. Well, and before I derailed it with the Nintendo thing, I was kind of being half serious in the beginning of it works out so well on franchises that have these crazy extended wars. Like it does work out perfect for them. Like FromSoft stuff would work great. Or yeah, Lord of the Rings or whatever, but yeah, I guess it was definitely good to ask you this question specifically because you are deep into a franchise that is going through it actively, whereas I have accepted that it's just Lord of the Rings books that exist, and
Right.
I don't really care about anything else.
Right, and I got it. I do have to give them that credit. GW, I feel like, is better than most with that. And it's like
I would prefer them to be protective than willy-nilly, for sure.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You don't have to be
that protective.
It's like, well, you can let people do it. You don't have to be protective because you are the one that determines. It's like they're the bouncer at the club. I want a big ass line outside of my club. I want tons of people to want to come into my club, but I'm still going to select the people I let in. Mm-hmm. You don't got to let them all in. You can line them up and then pick which ones you want. It doesn't, that's the whole point. It doesn't make any sense to like your protectiveness is all revolves around the fact that you are in charge of what is canon and what isn't. You don't have to stop people from making it. You just have to stop people from thinking it's canon. But that's the thing. If so many people want it to be canon, why not make it canon? But just to wrap up, or I'll rant for days, but Vaughn's point with Nintendo's lore is comparatively, for how long they've been around, especially like using the Metroid franchise as an example, for how long they've been around, their lore is incredibly shallow.
Yeah.
Incredible. They would benefit from allowing more people to interact more so than anybody else because they're not making anything lore-wise for their stuff realistically. Like even all their games that come out are very, very shallow when it comes to it. And the reason I use Metroid is because it's like keeping it a whole 99+1. I don't really give a fuck about Mario or Donkey Kong or Kirby lore, but Metroid is one of the few series they have that one could consider, not adult as an M-rated, but it's like it's something that could have serious. A little more meat. Yeah, it's more serious. You could have some meat to that. You could have some things with some weight and some stakes. And, you could even and Zelda also would be something that could have the potential to have, people work on some stuff because those are probably, I would say, the best fleshed out universes that they have because they're more serious. And, people could make plenty of content on that. And then you could just, you don't even have to credit people. I know it sounds scummy, but like, that's the whole point. If you're going to be scumbags, why not be good ones? Where it's like, hey, yeah, you saw something on Twitter that looks sick, some art. They got a little blurb about what it is. Yoink. Taking that. It would be cool to put it in the game. It doesn't make sense to stop them from making it at all. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as not using it, except you're being a dick as well.
Moral of the story, stop being a dick.
Yeah, please. Just please.
That's all I got.
All right. Moving on to the next one. Sony's recent rumor of axing PC ports of their first parties going forward. Future thinking or short-sighted? Vaughn, this is your question. I'm going to let you tee off on this one.
Yeah, so there are rumors currently, as of, what is today? March 6th, that Sony is taking the axe to their PC port initiative, I should say. So their first party where like Spider-Man and Last of Us and Ghost of Yotei was planned to be hitting PC soon, or 2026 sometime, is now in the bin, in the trash, not happening anymore. And it kind of came out of nowhere. So a bunch of rumors swirling around. And then, funny enough, Microsoft then announces new hardware, or hints at new hardware called Project Helix. So this is going to be their new PC, Xbox hybrid machine. And then people start rumor milling that Sony knew about this, so that's why they're getting rid of their PC ports. Because they don't want their IP to be muddied and playable on an Xbox machine. So my question stems from, do we think this is a good idea? Do we think this is a bad idea? The thoughts around that. Me personally, I'm not a big PC player, so it doesn't affect me directly, but it was a source of income for Sony that, like we said in the past, isn't necessarily no effort, but low effort to get out there because you're already building on a PC to begin with. So why not put it out there for a little extra revenue, and why not? The part that I'm iffy on is, why wouldn't you just keep doing that? Maybe tweak the release time frame. And by that I mean Sony often released these games many months, potentially years after the initial PlayStation 5 release. So you're already losing that initial rush of hype and focus on said game. So can you really be surprised that the sales aren't as close to console sales on the PC? But I'll tee it off to you, Brandon, because I have more points, but I'll elaborate off of yours.
Did they give a public statement as to why? Of course not. I don't even know why I would ask that.
hence the rumor nomenclature. There was no official, like, we're going to stop this because blah, blah, blah. Yeah, nothing yet.
Is it confirmed that is what Helix is? A PC Xbox?
They said
more than what it is now, I guess.
Right. This would be like a souped up Steam machine in essence. I think someone has said that in the new CEO's wording, it was like a PC Xbox machine. So rumors are it's like $1,000 to $1,500 machine. So PC like type stuff. I imagine it's just going to be like a souped up PC with an Xbox interface and let you play Xbox and PC games on it, which cool.
So they think that they're about to lose 2 generations in a row and then drop a $1,500 console. Is that what they think they're about to do?
They didn't say anything about price, of course. So this is all, the price is just what people think is going to be.
Yeah.
It's the smartest move to make realistically for them though.
Yeah.
Because if they have Steam game compatibility, stuff like that, then it becomes a matter of specs. And if they have superior specs to, say, a Steam machine, then they can really honestly get themselves right back in that game. It's kind of what we talked about before with it. You know, their best bet would be to kind of move to making peripherals that facilitate that kind of thing, as opposed to trying to stay in a purely console market.
Yeah, they could steal the focus of what the Steam machine's trying to do and gather the living room mindset, and they could play off of the Xbox has already been there. Now you can play your PC and Xbox games in the living room too. Blah blah blah. But I'm not their marketing team. I don't get paid.
Yeah, well, yeah, because we're never going to see it. Obviously, the contract, but I'd reckon that with Windows being Windows, they probably have some kind of contract with Steam as is to use their stuff. So I like I said, we're never going to see the details of the contracts, but in terms of just this bit of what we're talking about, and then we get back on the main topic. It would make sense for them to do this because really they don't have to do anything more. They're not going to have to renegotiate their contract with Steam in order to make this happen. They could just do it and be like, well, it's on the computers already, so. Are we gonna renegotiate a contract that says it can be on the computers but not on the console? Or
yeah, like it's super weird though too. In just for the sheer fact that the Steam machine exists, I wonder if Valve gets more strict on that and is like, well, I don't know if we want to let you do this because this is a direct competitor to our hardware. But it would be interesting overall with what they're going to do with this PC Xbox hybrid, because you're not going to play. You need some sort of source game for PC players, and that's Steam. So it would make the most sense to have Steam on there, but like we said, it's a direct competitor to the Steam machine. So why would you want to give a competing company that mind share?
It feels like a lot of reading between the lines, because a lot of this conversation seems to indicate that Steam is just willing to play ball.
Yeah.
Like, they might just be like Sony and be like, no.
Right. And it's all speculation.
Right. It's just like, because if you do a competitor like that, and let's just go with the rumor that it's like Sony doesn't, I don't even know if it would be, in my mind, something along the lines of, we don't want our games on an Xbox so much as like, that's just another way for us to cut you. Because it seems like Sony's just trying to gut them. We want your games. We're not giving you anything. They did give them Helldivers.
Right. And this comes down to Sony also like their consoles being like their main revenue source, whereas neither of the other two companies involved in this kind of PC console hybrid revolution, neither of their main source of revenue comes from the systems. Nintendo's obviously not even in the discussion as usual. And this is kind of what that gives me, is like a Nintendo-esque vibe they're doing, where they're essentially retaining, and I'm not saying they're falling out of relevance by any means, but it's like you retain your, like if this takes off, this trend takes off, they retain more of their relevance. So in a sense, that would be looking forward, because you're retaining your relevance by making sure that people can only get Sony stuff through Sony. And that makes it so you don't even really have to compete in that other market, and that if people want your stuff, they still have to essentially go through you.
Yeah. In my mind, it's a 70-30 split, in the sense of 70%, I believe, is it just wasn't financially viable for them to just keep doing this. And 30% is, well, if we're going to be competing, at least in some form or fashion, with this new Steam machine and whatever Xbox is cooking up, why would we want to have our content be playable on those when we can funnel people back to our hardware where it's the only place you can play it, which is essentially kind of what Nintendo does. But again, like Adrian said, Nintendo's on its own island doing its own thing, competing with itself, so that's really not in the equation. I'd be interested in the sheer dollar amount comparison in how much it's taking to do these PC ports versus how much they're making, to see like what the breakdown for Sony is, or what the threshold of profitability is, because it's probably low, I'd assume.
Right.
Well, that's also because they do what they do, where they don't release it until the hype is well and truly dead and gone.
Yeah.
Like they never do simultaneous releases where you can get it. So it's like the profit margin could be greater if they actually wanted people, like, and that's what it feels like. It feels like they want people to have their PlayStation in order to play these things and, essentially capitalize on FOMO. So it's like the profit margin, of course, is going to be small from the PC sector if, a game isn't ported until a year or, multiple years after the fact, after the game came out and the hype train is gone. It's like, if they're not gonna buy a PlayStation, then you're not gonna give them a game that's good enough to make them buy a PlayStation. Like if I'm a PC person and I had never owned a PlayStation, you're not gonna release any God of War, Last of Us, Uncharted, any of it, Astro Bot. Then you're not gonna release anything that's gonna make me pick up a PlayStation. Like no singular game or group of games.
An interesting juxtaposition to this was Capcom released some financial information, and 50% of their sales are from PC. So, but that's because they're releasing day and date on PC. So it would make sense that their PC sales are higher than what Sony's would be with their plan. But it's an interesting theory or thought process to kind of think about: are they doing this for purely financial reasons, or are they doing this to do that final cut in the gut?
Yeah.
There might be a third option, possibly. This is an optimistic idea. They could possibly be like getting back to basics, in the sense of, let's get back to Sony exclusives. We kind of walked away from it for a while. We're being predictable. Let's bring it all back home and just recenter.
Cut out that Jim Ryan fat.
Yeah, just recenter our chi real quick, because I mean, I ranted, I think, the last episode of just like, I don't know about this. This doesn't look like this ends good. But that was kind of my initial gut reaction, was it probably wasn't profitable. And it always, even though I don't personally care, I never really care. I don't really care about exclusivity. It always was weird seeing Sony exclusives on something that wasn't PlayStation. It always felt like, you guys are so Sony PlayStation games and also on PC. It's like, okay, so why do you have this big PlayStation logo that loads up every time if I can get it on something else?
Yeah.
So now to bring that home and keep that truly, would homogenous be the right word? I don't know. At home. Just maybe it's that route. Maybe they're making PlayStation Japanese again, hopefully.
Yeah, we'd have. I don't know, like, because I'm kind of
might be all three.
I'm erring to the side of, like, I don't know. I feel like they're fighting a battle that, in a sense, to me, it's like they're fighting a battle that was like they lost, or they it was never really like a bat. It's like you were fighting Xbox, you weren't fighting Microsoft. So it almost feels like you're being petty. You're stuck in this mindset of, yeah, screw Xbox, but it's like, dude, you're fighting like the toe of a much greater beast. Yeah. It's like the fact that you think you're competing, you're not really competing, in a sense. Like, to eliminate the ability to put it on PC is where it's like Xbox pretty much said they're effectively throwing in the towel when it comes to like the concept of Xbox. So it's like, yeah, you're not, this, for me personally, I feel like they would make more revenue doing it, the PC ports. I feel like it could be significant for them, but like I said, we'll never see the numbers. We'll never see any of this worked out. So, everything has got to be speculatory. But at the end of the day, my feeling is like they're trying to insulate themselves against essentially a coming revolution in gaming, possibly. Once again, all speculative. But for me, it's like, it feels like you guys are kind of seeing the writing on the wall, where integration with PC is going to become the norm. And you don't, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You would lose out on money from console sales and stuff like that. So you have to give people a reason to stay buying the consoles. And I do hope that I hope it results in, kind of to go up with Brandon was saying, I hope it results in them locking in and making good content, because they realize, hey, the entire landscape is about to change. This isn't about competition anymore. This isn't about, anything like that in terms of competition with Xbox. This is, if we don't make some way to insulate and keep our relevance, then, there will be no purpose for us. Like, it's like, yeah, if all PlayStation games are can be played on anything, then what do I need you for? And especially with the way PCs work in terms of being modular and upgradable, and effectively you could have the same PC for 20 years and never have to really do much of anything besides maybe upgrade a graphics card or something like that. It's like, yeah, it's like, if I could play all the PlayStation games on there, I'd probably eventually I'd probably migrate to never, because all my controllers are compatible. So it's not like I would have, in terms of game feel, it's not like I would have an issue there. And there's nothing that you could truly offer me on a controller that there's nothing you could truly offer me that I couldn't get on a PC at some point. Like, even the haptics and all that stuff. It's like, that shit was developed on a PC. Every game, everything ever made was made on a PC. So it's like it doesn't require the console to make it. It just requires a PC that is properly coded to interact with the haptics of your controller.
Yeah,
that's actually a really interesting point. Maybe they're seeing that we can't compete.
Yeah, well,
we need to be. It's like the way that Nintendo is isolated in their own little market.
Yeah,
try to do that opposed to it's like, okay, Xbox is done. Xbox and PlayStation were like the, for lack of a better word, it's like the mature games, the adult games. Nintendo's been doing its own thing. Now that's gone, so Sony's standing by itself. But now, like you're saying, this giant has the endless resources to just evolve when it needs to. So they just turn into something else, and it's like Sony can't just compete.
It's that second phased final form shit where it's like we're getting them, and it's like, oh fuck, we're not getting them.
It could also be like maybe a W, depending on how you look at it, because it could be like, hey, we did slay the giant's little minion, and now we got him out of our market.
Yeah.
And now he's going over to the PC, and now we're going to pull our stuff out because now it's like, okay, well, you guys do that. And so long as which I always will stand by it, like, so long as you are putting out stuff that is looking like Horizon and Last of Us, PC can have 1 billion frame rates and all that. There still just talent is talent. Yeah. So long as you guys have those kind of games coming, you will have that market. I will always be coming to those games. And if you're telling me I can't get them on PC, if I can't get them on PC, then you've got me on PlayStation because there's nowhere else to go to get that.
And you're still getting the games that Xbox purchased in the big deal. Right, so you're still getting that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to off. And they're not going to, how many PC games come right on over to PlayStation? Once they hit a popularity, like a certain level of popularity, they're going to come to PlayStation anyway. So it's like, that's interesting. Maybe
my thing is, and I want to be clear about it. It's like I don't believe Sony has any obligation to do this. Like, I'm not saying any of this in the sense that I think they're doing anything wrong. Not to say that you're saying I'm saying that, but it's just I want to clarify.
Yeah.
I think, like, if that's what they want to do with their system, by all means, it's your stuff. Do with it what you please. It's more of a question of whether I think it is a good decision. I can't really say either way. I can say I think this is possibly long-term endgame thought, and if that's the case, this might be the right move for them. Is to make it like just like you're saying, just make stuff that makes me want to buy a PlayStation, and I'll have to come to you for that content. But yeah, it might be a good move. It might be the smart move to make. But I just want to clarify that. Yeah, no, I think they have every right to do it, and if it is, more in the sense that I'm kind of leaning to, where they're kind of looking at where gaming is evolving, it's like it would be smart to insulate yourself. Because you rely on console sales. You rely on console and first-party game sales. So you need to make sure people keep buying consoles and first-party games, because in terms of ability to break into the PC market, Sony can't do that. Microsoft and Steam can go from the PC to the console world. Sony cannot go from the console world to the computer world. They're not going to start making their own PCs and shit. So it's like you are in your niche, you're in your lane, and it's just like you said, you kind of spooked everybody out of your lane when it comes to consoles. And if you hold that down, hold it down. If it's what's going to keep your, because I love Sony. I wish them to keep making stuff. I enjoy their peripherals. I enjoy their games. I enjoy all their stuff. I by no means want them to make a move. I don't want them to try to enter a fight with the biggest dogs that people could possibly imagine when it comes to the concept of computers and gaming. Like, Microsoft and Steam are the biggest of big dogs. It's like, I wouldn't, like, if you're sitting in a financial meeting, I would absolutely avoid that fight at all costs if you can. But yeah, it'll have to see kind of how things pan out.
it's funny, man, because with Sony specifically, I guess it's just like the nature of business and capitalism is it's like, the endless, we have to grow and grow and grow and grow and never ending until we eventually shoot ourselves in the foot and collapse. And I feel like they're maybe at that point where they've shot themselves in the foot a little bit. Because with PlayStation specifically, like, I'd make fun of Nintendo all the time, but what they do works. Their audience knows what to expect, and Nintendo, it's like if Sony were to just, hey, we are the Uncharted-esque games, like, so for example, I guess Sony was trying to get exclusivity on Crimson Desert.
Yeah.
Crimson Desert fits as a Sony game. It's that high quality, blah, 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 whatever. And they are also desperately kind of missing a open world RPG in that sense. Like they have Horizon, but they're missing that. They have a billion third person sad dad simulators. But I guess it's almost like, kind of going back to smelling cowardice in the air. It's like they need to have a Lion King moment of like, remember who you are. Like, you are not the live service chasing blah, blah, blah. If you get one of those, you do. But then it's like Helldivers hit and you guys kind of ignored it.
Yeah. That's the other side of the coin that I was going to bring up, that if you are going to isolate, you need to give people reason to join that isolation over there. Like if you're not going to be putting out good content to keep people over there, then you've fundamentally failed at what you were trying to do originally, if that's what you're trying to do. So you can't keep fumbling these studios that you've purchased and then let them go, because now you have no fuel for the machine that you're trying to build.
And to go into kind of what we touched on earlier, I think this will force them into that, because
hopefully,
I think the concept of exclusivity is going to be out the fucking window in terms of non-first party games. I mean, once again, the biggest of big dogs. You're not going to outbid Steam or Microsoft. You're not, because that's the thing. We're not talking about Xbox anymore. If Xbox is gone, you're bidding with Microsoft.
Right.
You're bidding with Steam. You will never outbid them for exclusivity. They will outbid you just out of spite and sleep like babies over it. So it's you. They will have to be the producer of the content that is exclusive, because any content produced by anybody else will no longer be exclusive to them. It's just not good. It wouldn't be like if I was, say, Activision, because they had the Call of Duty, exclusivity for the longest time, or with like a bunch of stuff with, or at least like contracts with them. It's like, yeah, they're not going to do that. You can't throw around money like those other companies. So the only thing that's going to be exclusive to you is going to be stuff that you are in charge of and you have full control over.
Yeah, and that's also not even considering that allegedly the future PlayStation has a portable functionality, which puts them more in a direct competition with Nintendo at that point, which is interesting. That is interesting. Yeah, they would have to. I bet they are feeling it real tough now. All those studios they shut down, because it's exactly what you're saying. I mean, that's been the conversation for years now. It's like, oh, thank God, things are starting to become more multi-platform. We don't have to lock it down. There's crossplay. I can play with my brother who's on Xbox. Like, it doesn't have to be these cages. And now that's interesting. Sony finds itself. It's like, yeah, you killed your competitor, but now you may have found yourself in a cage to where you might not be able to compete. And it's like, wow, that's interesting. That's funny how chess plays out sometimes. Something you could have never predicted. A dub turns into maybe a death.
Yeah, well, and that's like like I said, in the optimistic sense, they feel the heat and they realize they need to step up their first party game. That is, in my mind, that's what it's going to come down to. It's like, if you want to retain your relevance, then, like you said, you're going to have to get back to the basics, remember who you are, all that, all that stuff, where it's like, if you're not going to give us stuff to come here, then you're going to die. You're going to die on the vine. You are incapable of competing in that other market.
And I heard this on another podcast, and it's a good point to bring up, that PlayStation is going to be the cheaper of the two options, always. I don't want to say always, but 90% of the time, a console is going to be cheaper than whatever rig you need to play these type of games. So you're going to have to play off that. Like if you fumble that, then you're in big trouble.
Yeah. So essentially, it's going to be the everyman's console or the everyman's gaming platform. And then there might be people that come over from, PC/Xbox, PC hybrid community and pick up a PlayStation for the exclusives, but you're going to have to entice people.
It's an uphill
because
battle.
yeah, 100%. If you're easy peasy math, if you're telling me this one's $1,000 and this one's $600 and I get all the same games plus your exclusives, then I'm going to pick your console every time. But if you're telling me $1,000, you're not really putting out any kind of exclusive content. There's really nothing like, we always shit on them, but Nintendo, it's like, I don't really care to have a Switch too. I don't. There's really no Nintendo first party games that I care about enough to do that. They don't put out enough first party games of substance to make me do that. So it's not even something I think about on a regular daily basis. It's not something I think about at all, where I'm like when the first Switch came out, I really wanted one. And then I got it and I ended up playing like the Super Nintendo emulator on it most of the fucking time and Super Smash Brothers. It was like, why the hell did I buy this? I mean, the Smash was worth it. I don't care. I love Smash. So always worth it in my mind. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's like Nintendo's got a weird cult thing going on, and now is not the time to figure out if you have that same kind of loyalty. Now is not the time. Well, let's say you don't have to do that. You don't have to put yourself in a situation where you have to find out. Because me personally, I wouldn't want to be in a situation where I'm like, I sure hope people like us as much as we think we like them.
They don't have the toxic loyalty numbers that Nintendo does. There are people that would buy it regardless, but they don't have the blind loyalty that Nintendo quite does. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they don't have, I don't think PlayStation has, like you're saying, the blind cult-like loyalty, but I would absolutely go to the death that PlayStation has way better IPs all across the
board. Oh no, I would 100%.
Such a variety that you guys just are ignoring, though. You're ignoring Infamous, you're ignoring Resistance, you're ignoring Killzone, you're ignoring all these games because this one didn't sell good. It's like, dude, people like these games, bring them back. And instead of shutting a studio down, it's like everything just operates on such extremes. It's like you don't need to have all of your studios making 6+ year dev cycle games. The people that succeed 100%, yes, let Naughty Dog do whatever they want. At this point, let Sucker Punch do whatever they want. Everybody else, you got like 3 years.
Remember when there was a fuck ton of studios? And they were all like, you could like, there was, obviously I was a lot younger at the time and the names didn't have super relevance, but there was certain shit would pop up on the screen and I knew it was going to be gas.
Yeah.
Konami popped up on Konami Wolfkin side-by-side icon. I'm like, it's going to be gas. Capcom pops up. I'm like, it's going to be gas. And,
and fewer and better games.
You're right. And it's like, these people are, optimistically, I hope this does exactly what I'm saying. And I hope it forces people to focus on quality content and just kind of reinvent the way that they're just doing the game industry. Because this is, it's just not, it's not going to be viable. It truly will not be viable. In my mind, I don't think it'll be a viable strategy for them to continue the way that they're operating and this kind of cutthroat, nickeling, diming, we didn't make, we wanted to make, 200 million, but we only made 170. So it's not a viable product and we need to fucking trash it. And, we're going to have 8-year dev cycles and we're going to have these ridiculous production prices, which we've talked about it many times. And I'll state it again and again, whether it be film or games, these Eastern studios have demonstrated that these inflated costs of doing this shit is not required. It is the idea that this is how much it costs to make a game is false. It is patently, provenly false. You are full of shit. You do not have to spend the kind of money you people are spending to make these products. And it is not, I don't, it doesn't even matter if I believe you. It doesn't even matter if I'll listen to you anymore, because ultimately at the end of the day, if you keep the shit up, you will fail.
Some of the best innovation comes from the greatest restrictions. So
Yeah. You get hungry, you start figuring out how to make, some spices and some noodles into something special.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I bet they are really feeling that Blue Point pain. Like that is such a Blue Point is a perfect time buffer, because it is. I mean, I'm not saying anything everybody else isn't thinking. You do the infamous remake, right? You're testing the waters right there. Everybody's going to see oh, and you mean to tell me there's no devs under the entire umbrella that's been sitting around doing nothing because you guys want to keep putting out boof or cancel stuff or whatever? It's like, all right, sometimes boss got to come in. Hey, go, your talent's do infamous, put 3 years into it, blah blah blah, whatever. You don't got to do 9 years and revolutionize things or do some kind of God of War live service. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, it is interesting. I when I came into this question, I was more so gonna ask questions, and now that I'm done, it's like,
it's a good thought experiment.
yeah, I don't know. Feels like they are walking a tightrope over there at Sony right now.
I will be a, not eternal optimist. I'm a realist that looks on the side of the best case scenario. It's like, I understand. I feel like continuing on the path they are currently is the worst case scenario for everyone involved, because once again, I don't want them to fail. There's so much stuff where, I've grown apathetic or like borderline hateful, and I'm like, fuck them, let them burn. I don't want that for Sony. I really don't. I want them to prosper, because, as we've stated many times, it's only good for us. It's only good for us. And that's where this kind of stuff where, that's why part of why I'm erring on the side of optimism that they're insulating, because I would feel the pressure. Like I said, it's like they smacked the toe of the giant enough, and then he leaned down and he's like, I'm done fucking around with you. I really am. I'm going to leave, and I'm going to leave you on this island, but don't you fucking come after me, or I'm going to bury you. And it's one of those things where it's like, I hope that they're insulating and not just being like I said, holding this weird fight with a ghost that was really 1/1000th of the power of the actual company. It's like, you were never really winning. You were in the console war. I don't care about the console war thing. I think it's been stupid. I always
yeah.
But it's the reality of it is, you were fighting a piece of it's like Warhammer, baby. And the Tyranids are an absolute menace in the entire universe. They're tendrils. The tendrils, the greatest threat in the whole universe, was only a piece of a piece of a piece of a piece of a piece. And they don't even know what the whole thing looks like. It's like that, where it's like, yeah, we saved the planet, we saved the sector, we saved, 500 worlds. It's like, this thing is bigger than that.
Yeah.
It's
even
way
zeroing in on that, you've already won. Xbox is essentially no longer existing. They're sucking down water in the pool. You're pushing them under. They're almost dead.
You got them.
You got them. Well, now you need to figure out how to swim faster, and you're not doing it. You're in the shallow end, just sitting there.
You're treading water, patting yourself on the back, and while you're treading water, you're losing energy. Yeah. You're losing energy. You're not swimming towards safe haven or anything like that. You're just sitting in the deep end after you fought this battle, and you're letting yourself slowly but surely run out of gas and sink. So I hope, like I said, I hope this is being optimistic. I hope that this is going to be, hey, all right, you're cool. You have control of the location. Now fortify and lock in. Yeah. Fortify and lock in and make quality content, and fix just the way that you run your business as a whole, or at least your spending and your I wouldn't even say I'll say mismanagement of studios. Lock in on that shit and figure that out and get that worked out, and you'll be golden.
Yeah, to go off of your pool analogy of drowning them, it's like the fans and the rest of us are up on the beach or outside. Like, you got him. I didn't really care if you killed him or not, but like, all right,
We watched you kill this person. Like, you
yeah.
get out of the pool now.
Right.
You were swimming and you were like doing laps and it was cool, and then you just decided to start drowning him, and it's like, that's fine. I mean, I get it, but like
you're cheering. You're like, yeah, and I'm just like,
we're here for the
okay.
sport.
Yeah, I'm not.
You know?
I'm not here for you guys to take it. Take it this far. I mean, I don't care that you did, but
yeah, I don't either.
Congrats, I guess. Can you knock
get back
it
to
off
swimming, because we're here to watch you swim.
right. Literally, that's it. It's like, can we get back to? Can we throw some floaties in the pool? Can we join in on the fun here? Can we all have a good time? Or
that's funny. They're out there in the middle of drowning somebody, popping their own floaties too.
Right, they're
thinking deeper and just like, dude.
Yeah,
that's all I got.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's actually really, really interesting. It might come up again, I would imagine, once more information comes out, because it is all speculation.
I will never revisit this topic.
I'm fucking
my answer's locked in. No matter what changes, I will be completely indignant and refuse to accept any changes in the situation.
All right. And we're finishing kind of early, so I can maybe play Assassin's Creed Unity and save Napoleon Bonaparte from getting sniped. So that'll be kind of fun.
Could drown him.
Could drown him.
You could. He's very short.
In the shallow end.
You wouldn't even have to take him very deep.
Can you imagine getting in shallow water? That would piss me off. Damn it.
Turns out Napoleon was like of average height for the time.
Oh, yeah.
He was an average height dude for the time. We're just bigger now. So we're like, he was a midget. But in all fairness, anybody under 6 foot, I don't even know if I count them as people. But, that's just tall guy superiority talking. I'm sorry.
Feel it.
Sizest.
I feel it.
Breathing all this smog they produce down there.
I've been exhaling in my direction. It rises. All right, y'all ready to get out of here?
Yes, sir.
Sounds good. Check us out on all our socials: YouTube, TikTok, Discord. Now, join the Discord. Any topics you guys want to discuss, please put them in there. Streaming Saturday, 8:30 sharp. Be there, be square. Podcast will drop Monday. Shorts throughout the week. There would be a tactics out today, but my file got corrupted twice, so I'm sorry, but it will be here, and it's going to be glorious. Yep. That has been Redacted Party Chat. Case file 20. Brandon.
Adrian.
Fun.
Have a good night, y'all. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Jesus. Oh, God. Jesus.
What? Kojima coded?
Vaughn saying there's some camera angles that are Kojima coded, and all I could think of is Snake Eater. And it's just all I can think of. It's all the scenes in Snake Eater with Eva, and you could like hold R1, and he's just looking at her chest. And so, my immediate thought, just so everybody knows, I'm not a misogynist. My thought was hit R1 and it's just going to close up on Leon's butt cheeks. It's like he's like, stop right there, and it's like you're seeing the face to face, but if you hit R1, it's like the whole conversation is just from the back looking at his ass cheeks. It's like, yeah, that's a Kojima coded camera angle. For sure.
DLC,
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Give the people what they want.